A free speech case in Virginia challenges a realtor's right to post Bible verses on his Facebook page. The Virginia Association of Realtors ruled Wilson Fauber committed a breach of ethics because his post violated a prohibition on, quote, certain religious expressions. Fauber told CBN's Wendy Griffith he did nothing wrong and is expected to appeal.
This started to come to light last year when 70-year-old Wilson Fauber, a realtor and pastor, decided to run for Staunton City Council. Long before his decision to run, Fauber reposted a scripture from Reverend Franklin Graham on his Facebook page in 2015. It stated that homosexual sex is a sin based on Leviticus 18:22. Then last year, 2 Staunton realtors, including an openly gay man, filed a complaint with the Virginia Association of Realtors accusing Fauber of hate speech.
Why do you think this is all coming out now in 2024?
Because the National Association of Realtors is woke. The leadership of the National Association of Realtors has made it very clear about their involvement and endorsing and approving of the LGBTQ community. And just recently, just a few weeks ago, actually, in Charlottesville, Virginia, the National Association of Realtors provided funding for a drag queen show.
The Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors hosted the November drag show in the name of a fair housing symposium, reportedly funded in part by the National Association of Realtors Fair Housing Grant. We contacted the NAR for comment, and no one has responded to our request.
So let me get this straight. So they can use realtor funds for drag queen shows, but he can't post a biblical scripture on Facebook to support traditional marriage.
That's the position that's being suggested.
Michael Sylvester with Founding Freedoms Law Center represents Fauber and tells CBN News that while this is a violation of free speech, there's a catch.
So it all changed in 2020 when the National Association of Realtors adopted a rule that prohibits anybody from speaking what they deem hate speech against certain protected classes, such as sexual orientation or gender identity. But what's incredible here is the post that Wilson made was in 2015, 5 years before that rule even existed. He simply was presenting his religious views about marriage. That should not qualify for a hate speech charge.
For now, Fauber can keep his real estate license while they pursue a possible appeal. He says this guilty ruling, however, sets a bad precedent and will likely affect other organizations, not just realtors.
Christians don't have rights. And this is just totally wrong. And the National Association of Realtors, being the largest trade organization in America, they have set a precedent by adopting this policy. If I'm guilty because I post my religious beliefs in a meme or a scripture on my Facebook or social media accounts, if that's guilty of hate speech, there are millions and millions of Christians that agree with my position, and we don't have a voice.
If the guilty verdict stands, Fauber could face fines as high as $15,000 and possibly lose his license, which would likely end his real estate career. Wendy Griffith, CBN News.
Thank you, Wendy. Gordon, back to you.
Well, I hope this story gets you outraged, because I certainly am. There's a new thing coming, and it's called social media archaeology. Here you have a post. It's 9 years ago, before the rule was put in by the realtors, and they're taking a current rule and applying it to something that he did on his own Facebook page. So here you have a pastor. He's also a politician. He's also a realtor. At what point in time does the realtor have the association have the power to invade his private accounts, his political accounts, his political speech? Does their power really extend that far? We're into this gray area in American culture right now. And the gray area is the Bill of Rights applies to the government. The government can't restrict speech and can't restrict assembly, can't restrict the press. The government has to guarantee the free exercise of religion in the culture. So the government needs to intervene when these private organizations have this ideology that they're trying to enforce and limit speech. America is all about freedom of conscience. It's all about freedom of speech. We all get to believe what we want to believe. And in that competition of free ideas, the best ideas always emerge. We have to stand for that. If we allow, hate speech to be this sort of tag that limits free speech, we've lost a fundamental